What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Pride and Chaos, the Jet Show. It's live. We have a special guest tonight. The Buffalo Jet fan will join us shortly. Which reminds me, let me send that to him. How's everyone doing? It's Pride and Chaos. It's not just Super Pride. It's not the month of June. It's just Pride and Chaos. I know David D is lurking, waiting to drop the flag. We will not let him do that. We will not tell him about this conversation when he gets here. But let me introduce my co-host for the night.
Welcome to Boners with Bobby.
Sorry, wrong co-host. They look alike. Here he is. Fuck him. Make him wait.
And now, welcome to Pride and Chaos.
Welcome to the darkest year of our adventure. Oh, yeah!
And now, give it up for Jeremy and Nick.
Now you scared me.
And as usual, Nick is wrong.
Why are you the way that you are? God, I can't stand you.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Whoa, that was cool.
I hate you so much. Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let me introduce you, you
I
sloth.
love to introduce
Get
you.
out. God damn. It's so hard to find good help these days. Ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at well over 300 pounds, from parts unknown, from Chaosville, from half a head of hair, from Flabby Tricepville, from Penguin Land under the sea, let's bring in the stinky armpit, Jets Chaos. Hello, Chaos. Egghead, you are on air. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our show. Welcome to Pride and Chaos.
You call that an intro? I'll give you an intro.
I don't know. You fluster me sometimes, and I don't know what to say or do. Come flip when you think she's not betraying you. Not praying for daddy. You ready for loving? You're real independent, so your parents keep bugging. But if you ever need a place to stay, come around my way. Around the way, girl, that's the one for me. She's all. I don't want to sing it too loud because I know I sound just like LL Cool J, and we will get a copyright infringement. I just love thee. There you go. Matthias, the old timer, being the youngin, getting here, beating all the young guys today. Matthias, salute you. If you're on Facebook, go check out the Greenhouse Jets Football. Matthias runs that group there. If you are a content creator, you want to be a part of that group. This man will share every single show on. You have another McDonald's cup. We are definitely going to get into that shortly. Let's say hello to everyone right now. Tony Alexio. Oh, yeah. Chaos is expanding his fucking belt. Sean Mack, go ahead. I know you love to say hi to Sean. You have a thing. I don't want to take it from you. It's all yours, Chaos. Feel
Sean McAteer. There are 3 McAteers in the area of Temecula Valley in Lower California. And the 3 McAteers protect that land the way all land should be protected, specifically all the college campuses right now, with brutal force and toughness. We love Sean McAteer, leader of the 3 McAteers.
Hi, Sean. I can't follow it up with anything. I can't top your Sean moments. Hi, Sean. Mr. Harlan Abraham is here. We are not celebrating injuries on this show. Don't be that person. You can root against the Knicks, but never root. You want to see a team lose. You want to see them lose at their best. Don't do that. That's not nice.
Classless.
What's up, Daniel Murphy? Daniel Murphy! Daniel Murphy!
What's up, Charlie Murphy?
I can get a new couch. What am I going to do about these legs?
Show Charlie Murphy your tits.
Unity! Mr. David D is here. He is on his way out to pick up some flags, I'm sure. You will see those throughout the show. Anytime I make a questionable joke, he will post a gay pride flag and then a ×2, ×3 for how many questionable jokes get made throughout the show. Eminon is here. Eminon, if you haven't looked at the Instagram thing I just sent, did you see it, Chaos? The Little League one?
Oh, I didn't look at it.
It's quite enjoyable.
Nice.
Kid line drives a ball off another kid's head, and he turns and looks at his parents and goes, like smiling ear to ear because he hit the kid in the head. It's so good. Snowball is here hanging out. What's up, my man? Jets Afterburners. My friend Liam, I know I got to get back to you. I know I have to get back in touch with you. We got to figure something out. Life got turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. We're going to sing tonight. It's going to be a fun show. If I'm already doing LL Cool J and Will Smith. Pause. No Diddy. Oh, Eminon saying hello to Snacks. Snowball saying hello to the entire chat. And just anyone on the East Coast, West Coast, Middle Coast, anywhere in America.
Anyone who will listen.
Raul is here. Hello, sir. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you're doing well. Fear is Grim is in the house. What's up, buddy? How's everyone doing? How are we feeling? How are you doing, Chaos? Do you have any I neglected my wife or dog stories to tell us how you got your McDonald's tonight? Because those are always fun.
No, I took my dogs to a play date kind of thing. Friend's house with a big backyard who has 3 dogs. The 5 of them ran around like crazy for an hour. And
it was the play date for you or for the dogs?
For the dogs. And then on the way,
I don't judge.
The way home from that house to my house, there's a McDonald's. And I knew that Jocelyn was working and had clients and was going to be busy from 1 to 5. And it was at around 2 o'clock, or actually it was like 1:30. But the point was I knew that she'd be stuck in her office and I'd have plenty of leeway to pick up the McDonald's through the drive-thru with the dogs in the car, get it home, sneak it upstairs, and eat.
Have you taken my fat boy advice? Always get an extra $1 fry for the trip home.
They didn't have dollar fries, but I did get a large fry, so I had plenty to eat on the way home. And then I just ate my double cheeseburgers when I got home. You know.
Well, if you're gonna get a double cheeseburger, get the double cheeseburger bundle, and it comes with a small fry for like $1 more.
I'll check it out.
It's $2.99 for like a double cheeseburger. It's $3.99 for the bundle. Get the bundle.
Okay.
The fuck, I'm getting angry. My blood pressure's up just thinking about that. You didn't maximize your drive.
No, I got buy one get one.
I turn into Einstein when I get into a McDonald's drive-thru with how to. Don't ever buy 2 10-piece nuggets. You'll pay $40. Get the 20-piece.
I got buy one get one free on the double cheeseburgers now.
Nice. That's a deal. Okay, as long as we're working a deal. I turn into Super Jew when I turn into a McDonald's drive-thru. I have like org charts and spreadsheets. Dude, for years when they had the dollar menu, I would order 10 4-piece nuggets to get for the kids. I'd be like, I need 10 4-piece nuggets. And then the kid was like, don't you want to get 2 20 pieces? I was like, are you charging me the same? They're like, what do you mean? I go, it's $5 for 5 4-piece nuggets. It's $7.99 for a 20-piece, dude. I'm not the idiot buying a 20-piece. You can individually package all of them, please. Thank you. I would argue with them.
Oh my God! You could always say, we got a party at the house. There's 10 kids, and we need 10 separate boxes. A good Gesundheit.
What? All right, I don't know. What's asado? Somebody help me. Making asado in the backyard. Is that
Asada is meat. So he's probably either pork or beef, like Mexican spiced meat, like carne asada,
okay?
which would be beef with like Mexican sliced beef, for like tacos, burritos, things like that.
Okay. All right. I'm plain Jane. I'm chicken and like
He's
steak.
grilling up some meat. He's gonna chop it up
Okay.
like it's gonna be all seasoned. He's gonna put it
Okay.
in tortillas and with some
All right. A
you know,
little
rice,
Argentinian
whatever.
barbecue.
Yeah, it's gonna be delicious. I can tell
Lawrence
you
coming in. What's up, Lawrence? Seeing how much Boyd got paid, we can definitely afford some wide receiver depth, and hopefully we can convince Calais Campbell to come here for cheap.
ribeyes.
I'm a little disappointed about Boyd's contract. I'm curious to see if we were in on that at all.
He's a slot though.
I
We
know,
didn't-
but
we
he's a
didn't
big
put-
slot. He's
But
a
we
big
didn't do
slot. And if Mike Williams isn't ready, he can play outside too.
Yeah, but I don't know. He's a slot, man. It's like we have Curley, we have Gibson, Alan Lazard could play the slot. I know that people don't like him, but he was actually productive at Aaron. You know, it's like I'd rather like if they let's say they sign in a few days Justin Simmons, then I'm happy that they use the money for that. You know, so you know,
You think they're gonna? I'm on this hill that they're not going to spend big money on a safety. Now, granted, I will add the longer it takes, the lower I think the price comes down, and they might eventually get tempted.
yeah.
But I don't see them paying 7, 8, 9 million for a safety. I just don't. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's crazy because nobody's jumped and signed them, so nobody wants to pay for a safety. Apparently,
Yeah.
like
And
it's like
Diggs is still
nobody.
available too. Quandre Diggs is still available, and then there's the third safety, Micah Hyde from Buffalo. Those are the three like safeties that you might get one of the other ones on cheap. But I keep saying this: they love Tony Adams. They love Tony Adams.
They do.
And
They do.
if you go back and if you Google Jets Chuck Clark article, everything, or if you search Samini or Connor Hughes and just search the words Chuck Clark, everything said about him last year was pure raving, and all the OTAs, his leadership, his knowledge, his grasp of the scheme, his teaching the scheme to others. So I'm not sure if they go make a big move unless Chuck Clark isn't what he looked like last year, right? He got that injury early. I think it was June.
He got it very early. You know, like I could see that though. Like if he comes into camp and he doesn't look the same, or if they're disappointed if he doesn't have the athleticism that he had or the quickness, I could see. It's nice to know that there's probably going to be at least one of those guys left out there. But yeah, I also think that you know, some people say it's not true. Every position is important. I'm not trying to claim that there's a position that isn't important, but there's definitely levels of importance based on the scheme, and they just it might just be a position where you want athleticism, you want good players, but that you in that scheme you could develop good athletes, and it's not a place where you want to put resource like capital of money or high draft pick. It just might be for that scheme, that philosophy. And then again, I could be completely wrong. And one day there's going to be the right guy, and they're going to draft him really early in the draft. I mean, but up till now, it seems like that's the position that we've invested the least in, right, over the last 3 or 4 years.
Right. I think a name to keep an eye out on is somebody like Emmanuel Agba. He's that bigger outside guy. He's 6'3", 6'4", 275. He had 5.5 sacks last year. He can set the edge with the run. Might be a cheap JFM, like veteran deal coming in, and maybe you give him an incentive base like you give in others in terms of games played or, tackles for losses or some sort of sacks, some sort of incentives. It's a bigger edge to complement, and I'm not saying Replace isn't an equal player, I'm just saying a bigger edge for those games where you got to go big and you don't want to be putting Will McDonald out there often. You can go with a different rotation, and if the matchup suits it, you can have somebody big like Agba. So, somebody like that. I don't think Campbell wanted to play D end more. He didn't want to be in the trenches anymore, like getting double teamed. That's why he didn't sign here last year. Atlanta was going to give him the opportunity to play edge. We want him to play D tackle, and then that's why he went over there. Lawrence coming after losing JFM. We could use an inside-outside D lineman unless we're sure Kinlaw can be that. I'm very curious to see what Kinlaw's role is going to be in this scheme. Is he going to go inside out? I was looking for that. I know some people find the breakdown of percentage of snaps. We're going to be joined by Buffalo in a few minutes. He might know that answer. He's always good with doing those deep dives and finding that breakdown. I don't know if you have a site where you're privy to that, but I was looking for it the other day and I couldn't find it under Agba. I was curious if he went inside out at all at 275, but
we have in the past stunts. We do stunts. We like there's very, very possible that you're right. That's going to be interesting to look and see that if they do that with him, is he going to be a guy that sneaks to the outside, and stunts to the outside and is used as a rusher in that way, a surprise, guy coming in from the wide gap. That would be really cool. So we'll see if they do that. They definitely have done it. We see a lot of times where, we pay attention to that. Like that's something that, when you're watching the game with 300 fans in Green Bean's channel, somebody in the chat will say that was a stunt. And when we look at the replay, we're like, oh, that's cool that they noticed that. So it is something that we do.
Oh, that's what I watch. I watch the D line all the time. I watch what they're doing. I watch how they free up people. I'm a D line whore, flat out. I am the Kim K of defensive linemen. I love watching defensive linemen, whether it's us or whether it's the other team. I'm always, oh boy. For you Knicks fans, who I am no longer shitting on, Jalen Brunson has come out to the court for the second half. Knicks are down 10 at half. Oh. So I know his foot or his knee. See, Alan? That's why we don't do that negativity stuff.
Never injuries, man.
Never.
Like never.
Especially when you're a Jet fan.
Yeah.
We don't need that bad karma out in the universe.
Because it's, why? Because it's not even like if you're someone who doesn't like the Knicks, that should not be satisfying. You want them to lose with their best players. If the Bills were to lose Josh Allen and have a shitty season, that's not as satisfying as the Bills not making the playoffs with Josh Allen. Like it's never. It's like, what's the big deal? If it's an injury, then it's really not the team that's failing. It's just that a bad circumstance, So it just doesn't make sense as a sports fan. You should never root for injuries.
I disagree, Knob. Boyd was there before both of them, and he's been consistent with or without.
He's a decent slot. I'm just saying
he's been consistent. Chase has missed time. Higgins has missed time. Burrow has missed time. You look at Boyd, and Boyd's been a constant.
I just think the need for our team, if there was a need, like as far as depth, is I would just like to see a very solid. Not that they're out there, but I would. My hope was that we get another boundary receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not out there really, so
I know.
I know of who's left.
I don't sleep on Brownlee being that backup to Mike Williams. He did have some nice plays up the sideline last year. Rodgers did mention him by name when leaving the OTAs before they broke the last ones in June before training camp got back together. I wouldn't sleep on him.
Look, every team is not 5 guys deep in every position. It's just even Super Bowl teams, like even great teams. It's just not like that. And not everybody has 5 wide receivers that are starters that you can trust. Sometimes you have to, if there's injuries, knock on wood, sometimes you have to roll with somebody that's not as proven.
Yeah.
And the great teams scouted correctly, developed correctly, and the guys are able to come in and do what they need to do. And that's part of what makes a great team, right?
Yeah. Our friend Bobby popping in. Hi, Nick and Chaos, my friends. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Are there any call-ins tonight? There may be an hour or two. Chaos is here. He's got a previous engagement.
He doesn't like to. He doesn't like to type.
I know. And he did type this, so I will respect his efforts.
Did he type it as he's cut and pasted?
He it might just be a copy and paste from all the other channels.
Because I think he just fills in. I think he just fills it.
Snowball asking, did Gator give you a disappearing hat complex? I wore my green hat the other day, and with the green screen, it blends in and fades out every so often. And Gator was like, your hat disappearing and coming back is freaking me out. No, I know you can't see with the bright white lights, but I haven't had a hat on at baseball the last couple days. So my head is red hot right now. Like, I know I'm a pasty white, almost albino-ish looking person because I did not get out in the sun at all last summer. But no, it's just my head is hot. Pause. No Diddy.
Yeah, look, here's one that he put in for Nub. It's like it's purely cut and paste. This is the one where he says, hi, someone, my friend, you are awesome. Where are you from?
That's fine. Fine.
And Nob answered him.
GVH, my guy, popping in. They held on to Ashton as long as they did, and I like him. Shows me they think anyone can play safety. And yeah, I take a flyer on Agba too if they don't like Clemens. I keep saying it. I think Clemens is the odd man out. I really, really do. I know he had a high percentage last year. I just think the bullshit with Dawkins and the fuck you to the fans in Cleveland. I just think if push comes to shove and somebody else with better character is available, they'll choose the better character.
Yeah, but that person has to be as good on the field, special teams, and be cheap.
Is he really labeled good though, Clemens? Like, are we labeling Clemens good, or is he just a guy?
I think he's an okay role player. Like, he's, for his price, for being super cheap and costing us barely anything, I think he's okay. Look, he was better his rookie year. There's no question about it. He was showing promise his rookie year, and then last year's a little, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he elevates his game.
We have a leader for potential comment of the night. And don't forget, new segment that we started last night. Pay attention throughout the show. And at the end, we will do what Opie and Anthony used to do. And what did we learn today? Sometimes it'll be just football information, and other times it will be off the rails conversation like it was. Last night was just a hangout. Last night was an old school hangout, Jeremy. Very little Jet talk. Myself, Johnny, Mr. Bonesy, we were all giving Charles Gorman dating advice for about 20 minutes. It was fantastic. But last night was a hangout. It wasn't a Jet show, so to say.
Is Fierce saying that does he think that Leonard Taylor's going to be moved to the outside?
I just think he thinks that he might be that next defensive lineman. I don't know if he's saying he's going to play that role or he's going to be the guy who takes that lineman position. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be surprised if you don't see him take any snaps this year. He needs development. I watched a lot of his tape. Look, he has explosive plays, and I understand if you watch his highlights, you can take those collection of plays, and it looks very impressive. But if you watch his game film, play by play, every play of every game, he has his moments. But man, there are times where he completely disappears for a long time. I mean, and gets owned. So he makes mistakes too. So I think he's a development. I think that's why. I think he's a development piece. Give him a year. I think you have to be prepared to give this kid a year. And then if they can work on some of that, he has potential because he does have some speed and power and has some explosiveness.
Charles, is Madden 16 the one that you were playing today with Geno Smith that I saw for a little bit? That would have been for the 15 season. So, yeah, that would have been Geno before he got punched in the jaw. Is that the latest Madden that you have? Oh, let me pull that up.
We know that Bobby's a sweetheart. Everybody loves Bobby.
Absolutely.
We love Bobby. He just doesn't like the type.
And Jeremy picks on everybody. So when Jeremy picks on you, it's a sign of love. Jeremy and my friendship are just completely based on picking on one another. If anybody ever heard us talking to each other on the phone, you would think that we hate each other. But Bobby, if your name is popping up, we have to talk about what else could pop up with you.
Welcome to Boners with Bobby.
I love that Chaos has. If you had a Yankee hat right now and with that color shirt, you could play Bobby.
I just want to know if Charles, he got to talk to Kenobi, I mean, he got to talk to Knoble, and I'm just wondering how that was for Charles, getting to actually speak to the legendary Knoble, who unfortunately is going to have to work at a macadamia nut plant for another year until he gets another chance to be drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is not fair that Knoble has to spend another year in a macadamia nut factory. I don't know why he slipped through everybody's fingers, but Charles got to speak to him. So I'm really happy that Charles got to speak to Knoble in person. He's very lucky. I'm very envious.
Nice. Let's bring in our guy. You good?
Yeah. Oh.
Are you good in the back? Not yet. Yeah? Or you need a minute?
You got a super chat from Charles.
Charles, thank you. That was the Madden, however, the latest hat. Okay. Sometimes, all right. Sometimes you got to stick with the classics. I felt like after Madden 16, 17, the only thing that changes is the rosters. But thank you for the super chat, Charles. I greatly appreciate that. You're a good dude. Also, on the Friday.
I like Charles. Charles is a good guy.
Oh, he's awesome.
Charles and Bobby, he's just good, genuine
good?
people. Johnny Boy is good too. He scares me a little by changing his name like that. Now all of a sudden he's like feeling his oats, like he's a tough guy.
Hold on one second. Are you good in the back? Can you hear me?
Big Shot wants to change his name to Johnny Boy. Big Shot. Big Shot wants to barbecue family. Big Shot.
I can't tell.
Yeah, I think he gave the thumbs up.
Did he?
I don't know. I thought he did. Another super. Look at that, Charles. You're the only one, Nick, that he gives super chats to. He loves you.
Hey, are you good? Buffalo. Hello. He's watching the Knicks intently.
Oh.
It looks like he's on mobile. Maybe there's an issue with the computer.
He might be having an issue.
Yeah, he keeps coming in and out in the chat.
Yeah, his face is very big on the screen too. I mean, he is one of those guys with a big head. Like I always thought he could work for NBC. NBC always hires the people with the big heads. That's like David Letterman and stuff.
Here you go, Jeremy. He's answering your question. Go ahead, take this.
I see that. So he says it was all right. He goes, for the experience talking to Knoble, it was all right. Well, I think it was very cool that you got to talk to him, and hopefully, I think that with a 47-inch vertical, maybe we might see Knoble in the basketball draft.
You're gonna beat that?
What? I'm saying a 47-inch vertical, I think, could get you into the NBA. Is all I'm thinking. So,
all right,
that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But thanks for the super chat, Nick. Nick could use that to buy a new pair of underwear. He needs it.
Yeah. Why do you assume that I wear underwear? Good. Oh, we have the thumbs up.
We got a thumbs up.
Let's bring in the one, the only Buffalo Jet fan. You all right?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
What's up, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, all my technology is broken. Yeah, I got you guys. It's just delayed. My bad.
No worries. I figured something was up. And then when I saw the phone shaking around and you trying to set it up, I was like, oh, he's mobile. Something went down.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for you to come on.
What's up? What are we talking about?
Charles's video games. But there was some news that came out tonight, something that I've been screaming for that should have been done on Black Monday. Rich Cimini released an article tonight about the Jets changing, getting rid of some of the people in the sports science department that were supposed to take us to the next level and prevent sports injuries. And 3 of those guys, the main guy, we're keeping our strength and conditioning guys, from my understanding from the article, but we're getting rid of the sports science side of it. So, Buffalo, I'll start with you. Tell me your thoughts,
Okay.
and if you have any. But the amount of injuries we've had the last couple of years, I can't believe it took this long. I can't believe it took 4 months after the season ended. 5 months. And go.
Yeah, it's hard for me to know like what the causation versus correlation in terms of what if that's causing the injuries or not. But you got to change something, right? I mean, when you lose Aaron Rodgers the first play, then you lose how many offensive linemen? I think they should change probably their practice habits too, because last year I don't remember more offensive linemen or just in general injuries at practice than I could ever remember in the longest time. It would come up like Friday, like this guy's got a concussion, like, or late in the week injuries, guys getting scratched, and some people are pretty open about Keith Carter's practice habits, like former players. So that would be an area I would look into. But you have to change something. I truly I think a lot of it is just luck, and I know that's not an answer or a solution. It's hard for me to imagine that if we would have had some guy different in that position that Aaron Rodgers doesn't, pop his Achilles on the first play or the first game of the season. But at the end of the day, when you have results like that, you got to change something. So I'm all for it. The turf is really the boogeyman. I think we all kind of know that. Players have been pretty outspoken about that, but sure, why not make some changes?
Jeremy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think that they're responsible for the injuries. I think that the organization probably learned a lesson that there's no magic to this. Injuries are injuries. I think that the offensive line is something to investigate if it's happening at practice, because obviously you want to change that. We can't afford to have that happening. But I think overall, maybe it was a realization of you're throwing away money. How about putting that money away and starting to figure out a way to replace our turf and have a better surface to play on? Because I think that's really, the number one thing to focus on.
Which is difficult to do in a shared stadium, that to get 2 trays of grass, you would have to build the structure under the field. That's the issue, right? You're not going to keep 1 tray of grass out there. And then if we have the weather that we had this year, we would be losing our goddamn minds. If we had to play a home game on a Monday after all the rain that we played with on Sundays this year, and we did it years ago. The old Meadowlands had grass, and there were clumps of grass if there was a back-to-back Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday.
I remember.
People were losing their fucking minds over it, but there was no Twitter back then. It would be, if we had a lineup for a game and then we saw the pregame and there was clumps coming up on the field because there was a monsoon on a Sunday, it would be ridiculous. That's why they're not going to do it, because that will be more injuries.
Are there better quality turf then? Because there's other teams that don't play on real grass and people are saying that our turf is the worst. Why is it worse than other teams that play on turf?
They just replaced that last year. Last year was the brand new turf. That was supposed to be the new state-of-the-art one last year.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know.
Buffalo, your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I don't have the perfect answer with the turf. I don't know. Yeah. I'm just praying that Brunson's okay, because he doesn't play on turf. So I think it's just me. I think it's the teams I root for. It's starting to look like what the common denominator is. I take full responsibility.
Could you just change your name to the Buffalo fan then? And then all the injuries will change up there? All right. Any thoughts on any of guys that?
If that's what it takes, I will make. I volunteer as tribute. I'll make the sacrifice.
The Buffalo Chiefs fan, I like that one. I like the Buffalo Eagle fan. Like, there's a few that we can do a couple different channels for you and get them going, and just put the kibosh everywhere else. Like, we all have to make sacrifices for this team to be great. So it's just a changing of a word or two on the logo. You'll be all right. It'll work. And then it's great. It's great promotion for the main
Team
channel
effort.
when we do win. You see what I did? It's because of me. Any players you have your eye on still? I know we're getting late. We're probably going to wait maybe till June 1st, which isn't that far away, right?
There you
we've
go.
been talking about potential June 1st cuts for months, and it's like almost like, all right, now it's 3 weeks away, right? Any guys you got your eye on who you think may get cut at other teams, or anybody that we may release?
Yeah, it's interesting. I just did just off the top of my head before I came on, I just scribbled down like a 53-man roster outline. And I gotta say, I was able to pretty much fill out a roster I felt okay with just guys that we have. Now, I do think the one spot is honestly defensive line, just because of how many they're going to carry. And just the math of losing Huff and JFM and only adding Reddick. So I think that would be a spot where maybe they roster one UDFA and then one like post June 1st vet in addition. Interior offensive line, maybe they bring in McGovern, but I do look. I know people will kind of joke about it, but I actually do think Jake Hansen was decent in the couple of games he had to play last year. Compared to guys like Xavier Newman and Billy Turner, I thought Jake Hansen was decent in a couple of games. They brought him back, and then I do think that Max Mitchell probably can be like your 9th or 10th guy that could play guard and tackle. Like you're just emergency, like your number 5 tackle and maybe your number 4 guard or whatever the case may be. So I guess with defensive line, interior offensive line, maybe a guy like McGovern. I think he played for like $1 million last year. I would bring him back for that in a heartbeat. I don't think they're going to bring in a safety because they only rostered 4 last year, and I think they like Clark and Adams as their starters, and then Ashton Davis and then JBC as their backup guys. So wide receiver depth, maybe, but I don't know. Like teams 5 and 6 receivers are typically just developmental special teams guys. Like you don't. I don't know how much is Marquez Valdez-Scantling better than Jason Brownlee? Sure. How much better? I honestly don't know because Brownlee can at least catch. Like Brownlee is slow and can catch, but MVS is fast and can't catch. So pick your poison there. So I don't think we're going to sign anybody. To put it, the short version is I don't think we're going to sign anybody that's more than like $2 million, because to me, salary dumping JFM, who's like a good player, I don't think they were just like JFM's a bum, we want to get rid of him. I think that was, we were pressed against the cap. That's what that move was to me. So people are like, oh, Calais Campbell, like we're gonna dump JFM and then sign Calais Campbell, who is literally a decade older. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. So not a lot of splashy, sexy moves. I don't see a Justin Simmons. I think it's just going to be like rounding out the roster with vet minimum guys and some UDFAs.
Yeah, I think where our roster is, not that there's elite players who are going to get dropped, but I think anybody who gets dropped with this roster, I think would be a surprise. I think they really like the guys that they have there. And I think there would be some tough cuts if they do have to drop somebody from what would be their 53. Jeremy, as I know you mentioned potentially Simmons earlier. Anybody that you got your eye on, or if you've done any research into potential June 1st cuts from other teams that you're like, I'm keeping my eye on you.
I actually like an undrafted free agent of ours for the interior offensive line. I'm hoping he at least makes the practice squad at the worst case scenario, but I'm going to keep my eye on him, and I think everybody else should. I may even do a video on him. His name is Brady Latham, and I only have 1 game on him, for the All-22.
Okay,
but it's against Alabama though, So that to me that means something. It's like if you're gonna have one game on a guy,
a little bit of good competition there, right?
at least let it be good competition. And I don't know how this guy didn't get drafted based on what I'm watching. He's moving guys. Like as far as a run blocking guard, he is moving guys. And he seems smart. He's not out of position a lot. He's decent against the pass, even though I pointed out his run. I know a lot of people jump to think that means he can't pass block, but he can. I didn't see any glaring weakness with him there either. Pretty much, I probably saw one really bad rep the entire game against Alabama. And I saw a lot of great reps and a lot of like just even Steven kind of reps. So that's a guy I'm looking at. I'm looking at Brady Latham. I don't know realistically how he's going to fit in, but the fact that they didn't sign Connor yet or anybody makes me feel that there possibly is room on this roster for him to make this squad. So I'm keeping my eye on him. He's the guy that I'm looking at the most, even more than Leonard Taylor. I'm actually more impressed with.
Nice catch, Buff.
I'm more impressed with this guy Latham than I am with Leonard Taylor from what I've watched on film.
Any concern with some of our lunatic portion of the fan base, basically me, hating him just because his first name's Brady and treating him unfairly and not giving him a shot?
Of course. Look, there are going to be people that hate him just because he's an undrafted free agent, right? But we have a bunch of them, and I don't want to go crazy and say that we can't think that 5 of them are going to be good. Yeah. But 1 to 2, at least one from JD seems to come out every year. Like we seem to get something out of these.
That's your guy? That's your guy. Like last year, we liked Brownlee, and I'm still mad at Brownlee because we did exchange DMs, and I asked him to come on the show, and then Rodgers mentioned him, and he never read another DM from me again. After Rodgers mentioned him, like he did not. He said, sure, say when. I told him we were rooting for him, and we wanted to have him on, let fans know about him. And then, like, Rodgers mentioned him in that press conference, and then he never read another DM from me after that. So
that's my guy. That's my guy that I'm rooting for and watching, and I'm looking forward to the preseason games. I'm hoping he's going to get on the field, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him because I really like what I saw.
Okay, Buffalo, you got a undrafted or rookie roster invite guy that you got your eye on, or think that might catch some momentum, ride the wave, become a Jet?
Nobody I've watched film on, so just speaking casually to it. Latham is, well, first of all, he's got the last name Latham, so can we bridge the gap between him being a Brady but also being the same name as a first round pick that we all liked, or at least a lot of us liked. But I do think defensive line is one spot. I do know Leonard Taylor from Miami, I believe, the defensive tackle. I did see I didn't know anything about him before the Jets signed him, to be honest. But when I did go back and look at scouting reports, I saw a lot of projections of him going, in the 4th, 5th round, which I think is, so he probably had the most draft buzz of any of our UDFA players. And interior defensive line, there's not as many spots available, but I just think he has the most talent. And there's also that the kid from Michigan, McGregor, who I know is projected to be maybe like a 6th round pick, who has some size to maybe he can be like a tweener. I think that's, if I'm just talking position, because they added four defensive linemen, and there's the 1 defensive tackle, and the 3 edges they added were like 6'4", 6'5", 275, like that JFM Clemens kind of build. So I think like that, if I'm going to look at a position, is where I'm looking. I don't see a receiver. I know there's going to be a receiver we all fall in love with. Every time I think it was Calvin Jackson Jr., man, I drank the Kool-Aid on that kid. I think he's out of the league. But I don't think there's going to be a receiver spot open because they have Brownlee, Gibson, Charles, who've been there, 2-3 years. So that'd probably be the spot. And yeah, could Brady Latham be better than Jake Hansen? Yeah, absolutely. And who cares? Like, I think people get like, okay, if he was a 6th round pick, we'd all be like hyping him up, but he goes to UDFA. Like, that's not that big of a difference. A 6th round pick to a priority UDFA. So he could absolutely be better than Jake Hansen and be at the bottom of the roster. And if it's close, I'd rather roster a guy like that than some 30-year-old who's going to play 1 year with you. You might as well have a pipeline guy. So if he's good, I'm all for it. He's Arkansas, right, Latham? I believe.
Louisville, I think. I could be wrong, but I thought it was Louisville. But I could be wrong because I looked.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. I think defensive line would be where I would point to, but interior offensive line is fine as well.
I'm sorry, it's Arkansas. You're right. It's Arkansas. Yep. It's the other guy that's from Louisville that I was looking at.
Okay.
I have four guys.
Razorbacks.
Yeah.
Because I remember
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean it's there's so many by now.
Yeah.
Is that really true? They're on a 17-point swing in the third quarter. They were down 10 at the half.
Yeah, they were up. I saw the Knicks were up by like 5 at one point a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that Knicks are up
90-83 right now.
But I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna record.
My bad. I'm on like a big delay, so I'm sorry if it's cutting it out.
It's okay. I'm gonna record some of that tape on Brady Latham and just put it out there. Like I'm gonna make a video on it and just show some of it so everybody can get a real look at him.
What are you talking? I don't know. I don't know what Knicks fans talk about. Forgive me. Hawk, my man. What's up? Rich, thanks for showing up. Jim Pox here also. Hyder Ali, thanks guys for hanging out. I saw your video today that you did using your time at work and the accessibility to the whiteboard very well. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What you broke down? I like that video. I was intrigued by the.
That's what they get for giving me my own office, man. They shouldn't have done that.
No, it's bad. You hope that none of them follow you, or like someone comes in for like an important meeting and they're like Revis Cromartie. We have no Revis in the school. How does Revis have an A+ next to his name? Did you see 09? So do you want to recap that a little bit and tell everybody?
So was this is the defenses? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. So I originally heard I was listening to the Badlands, Connor and Joe, and they were debating, which defense is better, the 2009 defense or what we have on paper in 2024, which I would just defer to 2009 just because they were literally the best in like every single category by a wide margin. But I think that this talent-wise is interesting. So what I did was I tried to make the best defense possible with a pool of all the guys we had in 09 and then in this year's roster. And I ended up having 7 guys from this year's roster and only 4 from 09. So pretty sure I remember my defensive line was Quinnen and Chris Jenkins at defensive tackle with Reddick and JJ on the edge. Although if you want to go Sean Ellis on the edge, it's fine. But he was more of an odd front, like a 3-4 defensive end. So he was kind of a tough fit. And the linebackers, I went with Quincy because this year, like this version of Quincy to me is better than what we had in David Harris and Bart Scott. Wow. He was arguably the best linebacker in the NFL last year. Was David Harris or Bart Scott ever the best linebacker in the NFL as Jets? I don't think so. I would have to go Quincy. And then next to Quincy, you could go CJ, David Harris, Bart Scott. I'd probably go either David Harris because he was 26 or CJ. Either way, flip a coin. Obviously, then you have Michael Carter. He's a slot. He's better than the slot we had in 09. Revis and Sauce as corners, which is freaking ridiculous. And then I did give the 2 safeties to the 09 team and Kerry Rhodes and Jim Leonard.
I forgot Rhodes was with us in 09.
Yeah, you got to give it to him.
He left in between, right? He wasn't there for 2010. He was just 09 was his last year. Didn't he go to Arizona? Right? I don't think he fit Rex's scheme, didn't they?
Yeah, he didn't come back for 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Also,
him and Rex didn't get along.
Yeah, I think Kerry's lifestyle wasn't what Rex was a fan of. I think that those are some stories that came out back then. But when you look at something like that, something that I always need to add into the equation is what generation of offense are we doing? Are we doing the 09 offense where you might want more of a thumper like David Harris or, in the middle? Or are you doing like offense nowadays where you might need someone who runs more sideline to sideline each way? But I enjoyed that. Like I was watching it, like I was like a little kid, like, ooh, who's he gonna write next? Ooh, who's he gonna write next? Like I was really, really into it. And I love like when you come, me, I love those lists. I love those compilations. So like I was really like giddy, like watching that this morning, like trying to figure out who you were gonna put. I think I hit like 9 of your 11. I would have had Ellis over JJ, and JJ been like the backup because I really loved Sean Ellis, but Ellis and then Reddick complementing one another would have been nice. But there's no shame in having JJ there, right? But like you said, he's more of a 3-4, so the logic fit. Jeremy, your thoughts on anything?
I think overall this is going to be. You know what I think is going to make when we talk about comparing rosters of the defenses from that year to this year, I think the thing that's going to make like the other factor that's not really a player is the offensive this year and having a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And I think that we might not have seen the potential of how good the scheme is on this team because we've been watching this team as good as they've been. We've been watching them where they're on the field way too much. 1, 2, 3 out, 1, 2, 3 out. Whereas that other team from 2010 had a great running back. We had a lot of time of possession, so that defense had a big boost from that. So I'm interested in that other factor, that factor of we're going to see what that does for the defense of this team this year when we actually have an offense that's not going 1, 2, 3 and out. So I want to see what that effect has on the overall scheme and defense, as a whole.
Extending drives, converting third downs, 75-yard drives, scoring touchdowns, allows you to run more plays, allows you to go deeper into the playbook. It allows you to do a lot of different things. And that's not something we've ever really seen outside of Charles playing Madden. So let's just sit back and enjoy this because you can't judge Hackett fully. You can judge him. People hate him. But you can't really judge the totality of what the system is supposed to be when you don't have the guy who's supposed to be running it. And when you have to throw Zach in, who's supposed to sit for 2 years, and then you got to throw Tim Boyle in, and then you got to throw Trevor Siemian in, you're not getting a true reading of what it's supposed to be. When you're using 15 offensive linemen, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do, right? When you have guys who are starting for you on Sunday after being signed Thursday night because of another freak injury in practice, you're not going to have a true read of what your scheme is supposed to be. So it's going to be a blessing to, thank you, Jesus, please keep health on this team, and we can watch the same lineup go week after week after week and just pummel the ever-loving shit out of the opposition. Uh-oh. Lawrence with a Nick update, and then Nabi came out holding his hamstring quad area.
What's with the injuries on this fucking team?
You could say it loud.
They cannot stay healthy. It's like every team that I freaking am a fan of. It's just one thing after another.
It's crazy. And I'm a Yankee fan. I'm waiting for the fucking shoe to drop there. I'm waiting for Stanton to sneeze and tear his fucking abdominal. Or what would Gorilla Monsoon say? Something in the solar plexus. Abby Fresh. Welcome, Abby. If you're new here, please subscribe. And if you have already, welcome back. Pleasure to have you. Yeah, Jim Pock, I keep saying this, man. I keep saying this, that we started 5-2 and 4-3 the last 2 years with the worst quarterback play in football before we got to injury number 3 and beyond on the offensive line. You can sustain an injury or two. Most NFL teams, your 6th or 7th guy is guys who have started, have experience playing at other places, and you're okay with them for the short term. When you get to linemen 8, 9, 10, now 10, you're picking guys off the practice squad. 11, 12, 13, you're really digging deep into practice squad guys. 14 and 15, you're taking guys who were doing security at a strip club on Tuesday night and they're in practice on Wednesday. So you're not meant to go that deep. That's what she said.
I have to run. So, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
All right, man.
And
thank you. We'll
you
talk. Be good, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, the chaotic one.
I can't leave, though.
It's Irish dip. It's very, very popular for the Jewish guy. I don't know how the Jewish guy does the Irish dip all the time, but he just exits randomly. How much more time you got? You got a few minutes to hang out? Oh, whoa, whoa.
It depends if I can switch it so you can't see my face and you can hear me, or I can dip, because it's the only way I'm going to be able to do it with my phone dying.
I gotta pee. Can you just hang out and talk while I go pee? And then you're free to, if you got to dip and watch the Knick game, I understand. Can you just hang? He left before I could even ask him.
Yeah. Just literally give me like 15 seconds.
Okay.
I got you.
All right. So what we'll do, is I'll open it up to you guys after that. I know you guys are watching the Knick game. If we can limit the Knick talk to just talking about me, that would be great. But we will. I'll hang out for a little bit longer. I'll hang out. We'll open up the chat. With the chat calling in, we will. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got another guy coming in.
There we go.
All right, go ahead. I gotta use the bathroom real quick. I'll be brief.
Oh, you're good. All right, let's see what we got cooking in the comments here. This is my bad, guys. My technology is. I found out today that my whole entire channel is dependent on one, like $7 piece of equipment that holds all the cords together, and it's not working. So I'll have to Amazon Prime that. But let's see, what are we talking about here? What's up, Rich? Hawk, we're past 45 minutes, so we can talk about Zach Wilson if you want to. Yeah, but I'll give you guys my even Revis has a bad rep. Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about like tech issues. Usually have it squared away. But yeah, I'll go through my 53-man roster that I whipped up, because I think I was able to kind of square it away without really feeling the need to add a veteran. There's some spots where we could, but without a need to add a veteran. So I think 3 quarterbacks are a lock this year, because obviously you drafted Jordan Travis as a 5th-round pick, so you're going to roster him. So I would say 3 quarterbacks. What's up, man?
I was just saying championship.
Oh yeah, I'm just ripping through my 53-man roster prediction, because that's all right. So let me know who butt in. So I'm going with 3 quarterbacks: Rodgers, Tyrod, and then Travis. I feel like that's a lock to have those 3. And then I think 4 running backs is a lock with Hall, Allen, Davis, the 2 rookies, and Abanikanda. Like, look, I'm not ready to write the obituary on Izzy Abanikanda personally. I know that the drafting of 2 running backs doesn't necessarily bode well for him. The scheme change isn't necessarily bode well for him, but I think they will roster 4 backs. And I think he'll be the 4th back. And Nick, correct me if I'm wrong. Has Joe Douglas ever cut a draft pick that was like a 5th-round pick or higher after a year, who didn't get hurt or do anything like crazy off the field? I can't remember any time he's given.
Morgan?
I mean, how long did he?
James Morgan. That? James Morgan would be the only one.
Maybe James
Morgan. After a year,
that's
he
a
was
good
a 4th,
call.
right?
Yeah, that's a good call.
It's that first one that popped to mind. I think it was after a year. I think they went to camp with him, and then he got cut during camp, right, in year 2? So he didn't make the roster.
Pinnock. Was Pinnock? Yeah, Pinnock might have been a 5th.
But he was on, he was off, he was back, and then they let him go. But
wasn't he here for 2 years?
He was like a Tanzel Smart. He was like a roster gymnastics. He was on and off, back and forth.
I thought so. And I know, like, obviously Cam Clark, there was an injury, but I think it's suffice to say
Will Parks. Was Will Parks?
No, he wasn't
a role there. He wasn't a draft pick though, right?
Right.
He was like a free agent pickup, like a Tony Adams.
Yeah, he was back and forth.
Okay.
But I think suffice it to say, he's going to be pretty patient with his draft picks.
Okay.
So I think Izzy stays. So 4 running backs, offensive line. Obviously, the locks are the lineup of Smith, Simpson, Tippmann, AVT, Moses, the starters, and then the locks on the bench would be Olu, Carter Warren, Wes Schweitzer. And then I think if you have Hansen as your second interior backup, and then Mitchell as like your break glass in case of emergency, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They only carried 9 last year. And JD said they wanted to carry 10. So maybe you could bump off Hansen or Mitchell. Hopefully Mitchell maybe, I don't know. I remember after Mitchell's rookie year, didn't you feel like maybe we had at least a decent backup? And then he regressed. Or maybe a low end starter.
Yeah, I thought we had a potential for a guy to be right tackle. But after that blood clot, he did not look good in year 2. Some things happen, health happens. Guys got COVID, they never were the same. There's certain things that just happen outside of the sports realm, and that health thing with Mitchell, he was very promising. He did look okay at times. Like Breece Hall's run in Denver was him down blocking from tackle and opening that up for him to go. So he did have some nice moments here and there, but
his losses are like as bad as they get though. Like when he gets beat, he gets his ass beat.
Yes,
man.
Yes. It's turnstile. It's Wayne Hunter-ish at times.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's very, very disappointing. But when he gets his hands on somebody, he can deal with them. But I don't know if the movement's there for me to trust him out in the open.
Yeah, it's tough. You don't know what. Yeah, I think clearly that impacted him, whatever he dealt with the blood. I'm not too familiar with the illness, so I don't want to speak on that, whatever medically, but clearly he was not the same player. So do you think offensive line, do you think that's a spot where they add somebody like is Hansen and Mitchell being like the last 2 guys? Is that leaving you a little nervous with how many injuries we've had in the past?
I think that they will do every and anything possible to make the best 9 or 10. And I don't think anybody 8, 9, or 10, Schweitzer, Hansen, Mitchell, are safe.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
That's where if you bring in Bach on a cheap thing, Mitchell's gone, right? I think we all agree on that.
Bach's going to be sliding over to guard and be playing over Simpson.
Right?
No, I think.
How about you do one of those plays where you bring in the 6th tackle and you're running behind Tyron Smith, Simpson, and Bach on the left side in a big moment in the AFC Championship, and you're double teaming Chris Jones with Smith and Bach.
You kick over Smith to like the wing, and you have him pull on like a counter.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Right?
Yeah, but I think Olu. To me, the drafting of Olu kind of put the kibosh on the Bakhtiari stuff, or maybe because I don't know, unless he's going to play like just backup right tackle. I think probably more towards interior offensive line would be where they would look to get, because that's where I'm a little bit more nervous. I think Olu as your swing and then Carter Warren as your 4th tackle is better than most teams' depth.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I don't think they're going to panic about 8, 9, and 10, but I see if there's clear upgrades, they're going to pounce. They're not going to let last year become this year.
Yeah, I think you kind of see that what they're going to do is, however it goes, they're not going to lose the same way they did last year. Like you could see that with them getting Tyrod Taylor and now getting Olu with the insurance. Like they're just not going to have it look the same way it did last year. So I think, maybe one spot there goes to a somebody else, maybe Hansen. I mean, let's be honest. You could keep Hansen or maybe even Mitchell on the practice squad. Maybe Mitchell gets taken because of draft pedigree, but we always, every time we cut one of these guys, like 95% of the time we get him back. Whenever we're freaking out, oh my God. What we don't realize is like every team has their preseason hero who nobody else gives a fuck about. You know what I mean? Like whoever it is. Like,
David Clowney.
Yeah, we always get him back now. We always get him back. So wide receiver, obviously I would say Locks or Wilson, Williams, Corley. I think Lazard just contractually will be here. And him being, whatever your fourth or fifth option is in the end of the world. And then really it gets interesting. I mean, I know you feel like, was that you who said maybe you think Lazard could be a surprise cut, or is that somebody else?
I think he'd be a surprise cut, or I think he could be benched week in and week out until the trade deadline gets closer. I think Robert Saleh hates his fucking guts. And if Joe can't make the move, Saleh will make the move and say, we're benching him. And I think you could see them going with a fourth tight end or a Brownlee or another defensive lineman in place if the rest of the wide receivers are healthy. And Saleh never throws his players under the bus. And he drenched that guy in gasoline, lit him on fire, and threw him in front of a bus when he talked about him. And I just don't see them. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is that much of a miracle worker. And I think when a coaching staff sours on any player, the writing's on the wall. It's just a matter of when and how, not if.
Yeah, I mean, we could all agree if he had 1 year guaranteed in his deal, he'd be gone. Right? I think the only reason he's still here is money. Like, but you're right. I mean, think about how many
you have
bullets...
a 4-year deal and your head coach is at the microphone and your head coach comes out and says, there's 18 months, 3 days, 4 hours, and 6 minutes till this bitch is gone. Dude, that's pretty fucking clear that they don't like him.
Yeah, that was crazy. He was like, yeah, he's going to be with us for the next 18 months or so. Yeah, that was like that. I've never heard him say anything like that. I mean, think about how many bullets he's taken for Zach. Like, he's never even come out and said like Zach sucks, or Tim Boyle. He's like, Tim Boyle's got some, he battled out there, like Tim Boyle, and he goes out there and eviscerates Lazard.
He'll talk like Boy Green at times and be like, he's got some chutzpah, and he'll say like these words that like tell you like, all right, they believe in him, or he's not going to throw his guy under the bus. Lazard, he was like, here, wear this vest. We need you to go into the town village, and then kaboom. Like he turned them, like he just told them, you're dead to us.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was clearly in the doghouse. Getting a healthy scratch for a UDFA for a guy who just signed a $44 million deal. I don't know how else you look at that. Pretty brutal.
I've never heard Bill Belichick throw a player under the bus like Saleh did. Belichick would just be like, well, we'll figure it out. He doesn't give you that clip. Saleh gave you that clip, which was very out of character. But all right, go ahead.
He had enough. Between Brownlee, Gibson, and then like Irv Charles, I think if they wanted to keep 7, like Irv Charles is a special teamer, but I don't think any 3 of those guys are locks. I know like Gibson had the punt return, and I like Gibson. I like his story. I think he showed some like good yak. He's got some good juice, but I still don't think any of them are locks. If they were to add a veteran, I think I could see the pecking order of Brownlee, Gibson, and Charles going in any order.
I'm not going to put, if I could just chime in there real quick, I'm not going to label Charles a wide receiver if everyone's healthy. He's got the Hardy spot. He's like your special teamer, right? Yeah. I think we agree on that. He's listed as a receiver. He can go in if it's late in the game and get some reps there. But we weren't seeing Hardy at cornerback. So we're not going to really see Charles at receiver. I think Charles's role is that gunner special team guy. And I'll be honest with you. I think the new rules on kickoff actually will hurt Gibson, and they'll go with more of a physical guy who could break one tackle and go. And then you can just find one of those guys to return punts. So I think the new rules could hurt Gibson, and that could be something to keep an eye on.
Definitely. Well, the new kickoff rules are perfectly built for Malachi Corley. Now, I don't know.
Corley, Davis, like Allen, like guys who can just go, right? Put your head down, run through an arm tackle, and then it's open land.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I don't know. Hopefully, Corley is a prominent role in the offense where maybe they want somebody else to take those hits. But I think you're right. And then also, Corley, Gibson kind of his role on offense would have been that a little bit as well, like that slot kind of design touch guy, like some Barrios stuff. But at the end of the day, like I'm fine with however they want to go. I did have 7 receivers in my 53 because I did have Irv Charles as that gunner with Hardy gone.
Okay.
But I mean, is wide receiver. I mean, I don't know. I just think when people throw out these names, it's like, oh, we got to get Tyler Boyd, or Tyler Boyd only got $4 million. We should have signed him. It's like people have to realize that the player gets a choice too. And the fact of the matter is, on other rosters, these guys would just be ranking higher. Like Tyler Boyd could step right into Tennessee and be their primary slot receiver. He wouldn't have been that with the Jets. He probably would have been like 4th. Or, the Jets have a number 1 and number 2 set in stone. And then they have between Corley and Lazard, a 3 and a 4 of one guy who's essentially a late 2nd round pick and another guy who's on the hook for $11 million. So does Zay Jones want to come here and maybe end up being wide receiver 5 when he can go somewhere else?
I got a tweet right as the show started. He's visiting with the Chiefs right now. Yeah.
Well, with Rashee Rice, career is maybe over. I mean, is Zay Jones, what is he, wide receiver 2 on the Chiefs? Seriously.
Yeah.
So why would he want?
He would be great there. Like he was okay in Jacksonville. And what was he with the Raiders before that too, with Derek Carr?
Yeah, briefly he had one good year with Derek Carr. The Bills drafted him. He never really.
He'll be fucking all pro if you put him with Mahomes.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love to add a guy like that, but at the end of the day, I think that they're going to stand pat and see how these young guys develop. See Mike Williams' health. It's not like, oh my gosh, we're going to start off 0-7 because we didn't sign Zay Jones, and then they'll wait on the deadline. And if Mike Williams' health isn't what they wanted, or if Brownlee and Gibson's development isn't what they wanted, they have 2 third-round picks and 2 6th-round picks next year. They'll make a move then. I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. with a cold sweat, like, oh my God, Jason Brownlee's our wide receiver 5. Like, to me, it's not that big of a deal. You can get better there, but I'm okay right now, especially with the ammunition that they have. And that Joe Douglas is not going to just let it slide. If there's an improvement to be made, he'll make it. It may just be in October and not in August.
I'll summarize it with this. Fuck feelings. It's ring season.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody can word it better than that, I'm up for ideas, but fuck feelings. Like, if they're making a move, it's because it gets us closer to being the last team standing. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, we have to also remember, they were trying to trade for Rome Odunze. Like this, so the idea, you know what I mean? And then one of these guys that we really like at the bottom would have went to the practice squad and they wouldn't have cared. So they're the thing is, ironically, Joe Douglas makes the roster, but we like these players more than he does. We have more allegiance and more ties and more warm and fuzzies about these guys than he does, because he's always looking to make a move. He's always looking to upgrade.
Yeah, and you know me, I even though I'm a content creator, I'm different, right? And I don't give a shit if any of us are right about a player. I just want Joe Douglas to be right. Like, if they're making a move, I'm going to support the move. I'm not going to worry about me or my take on a player. I put my trust and faith in Joe Douglas. And I think the roster he's built, like you did your top, what was it, 20 or 25 the other day?
Yeah. Crazy, man. It's ridiculous.
Compare that to 2020. Like, you would have Quinnen Williams. And who else cracks the top 25?
Jamal Adams.
Okay.
And Marcus May.
And May. But I mean, they're down there, right?
Yeah. Oh, if you put it onto this 25?
If you put them as 20 players into this 25.
No, nobody.
Jamal would probably come in maybe a top 12.
Yeah, he and May would have a chance, but then you're talking like, okay, is Henry Anderson 25th? Like then that's where the next drop off is. Seriously. And Quinnen, well, 2020 wasn't that rookie Quinnen? Rookie Quinnen wouldn't have been that high.
18
or that was second
Sam
year
Darnold,
Quinnen,
so 19 was Quinnen.
Yeah.
Right? 20 was Becton. 21 was Zach. 22 was the elite
22 was
class.
the
Yeah.
God class. It's crazy though, because I think I had Tyron Smith at like 7, and I'm like, how is that possible? But I'm like, I don't know who to move.
Yeah. It's and
wild.
there's no wrong order. Like you could do that list 10 different times before the season starts, and you will not have if you don't have the memory recall to remember exactly how you did your top 10, it will fluctuate. Like me, you, and Ego
2
did
could be
that
9.
If I did my top 10 again right now, it could probably change. I don't think it would be identical because just how close it is.
Yeah, that's why I think tiers of player make sense, whereas like, okay, like 3 through 9 or this or similar, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, like at the tight end, I think is where it really just comes down to, I don't think Bawden makes the team this year. I was big on Bawden last year. He didn't really make a difference to me. I think that
Rucker takes that role.
Yeah, Rucker is fine, or even Isaiah Davis, like one of the running backs. Like Rucker, to me, I thought when they put him in the backfield, he actually blocked better than Bawden. So even if he's 90, even if it's a 10% drop off at fullback, who cares? Like give that spot to another roster spot to somebody else.
I'd rather have Allen taking up all at the 1 yard line in the Patriot game and scoring rather than the other way around.
I like these backs we got, man. I like those the backs we drafted.
The talent's insane. The talent on this team is insane. I just keep praying that we have 1 year. Let this be the year that we have total health. If there's ever been a year that a Jet team stayed healthy, let it be this year.
Well, you can tell because when I talk to fans from other teams, the only thing they say is like, well, Aaron Rodgers is coming off an injury, because you can't say anything about the roster. What are you going to say? Garrett Wilson and Hassan Reddick and Quinn Williams and Sauce Gardner aren't good. Like, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that they can say is they would refer back to our coaching, which I think is valid. But again, look,
don't forget though, Rodgers has the green light to change any fucking play at any fucking time if a stupid call comes in. He even said it last year. I forget if it was Hard Knocks or 1JD, and he's like, if they call in a play, that's when you just tap the helmet like, oh, I can't hear you. You get in the huddle and you call your own play. Like, he's got that freedom. They're not calling a timeout because they don't trust them. Like with Zach, it would be like, oh, I don't know what to do. They're like, oh, timeout. Like someone fake an injury. We're not letting this guy decide anything. If that happens and Hackett calls a stupid play, he's like, oh, I can't hear you. It's too loud here. And he'll just call his own shit. So Rodgers will mask stupidity.
Yeah, they're going to give him the personnel. And then he'll dial it up from there. Kind of like on Madden, when you can press the different buttons and just change like every route. I don't know. I haven't played Madden in a long time, but it used to be called a hot route.
That's all I do. That's all I do. I don't.
Yeah, I'm like, just give me the formation and I'll change every single one.
Yep.
That's what Aaron Rodgers did.
I'm doing a hook on the outside, a slant on the inside, or I'm doing a zig on 3rd and short with my slot guy. Done. Stop it.
There you go. Are you so then I guess Zach Kuntz, does he make it? I don't know, man. Kenny Abloa plays every special teams rep. I think Kuntz is going to be honestly, I think Kuntz is just going to be a perpetual practice squad guy that we just never lives up to his fun name. Like, he was a 7th round pick. I don't know what to say.
I told you guys this Christmas Eve. I went to the Washington game, and I remember sending you guys pictures in the DM chat.
Of Kuntz?
And I said, Rodgers and Kuntz are standing next to each other talking the entire fucking time. Ooh. So that was Christmas Eve. Now he mentions them again. Don't forget, Rodgers always connects and bonds with a project. Lazard was a project, right? He was undrafted. There's always guys that he will connect with and work with and bond with. And if he says, I like him, we keep him, he's being kept. So it's worth keeping an eye on.
So Zach Kuntz,
it's just a certain
15 touchdowns. Nick Shine said it first.
Merry Christmas.
That's why I don't remember that they were. That's interesting. Okay, so now it's a couple of times that he's gone out of his way. You know what? Interestingly enough, Zach Kuntz actually would, like, the role he would play with in Rodgers' offense is actually similar to Lazard, because he he essentially would be a big slot receiver. I think him and Lazard are probably similar in like height and weight. Although Kuntz is like a freak athlete, like a 10.0 RAS score. All right. So I'll dabble in some Kuntz Kool-Aid. He could be tight end 3 over Yeboah. That's more fun.
Right there. That's my picture. That's the two of them walking off the field together.
Got it. Okay.
Non-stop they were together.
Hawk. Oh man. Yeah, defensive line is interesting though.
Hawk says he needs about 4 or 5 more years of seasoning before he's tight end 3 material. When you're 6'8", you run a 3 tight end set, and you got Allen and Brees in the backfield, and you do it at midfield, and you get the first down, and then now you're at the goal line, and you run that again, and you do a little baby boot with Rodgers, and Kuntz is running out against a 5'10" cornerback, someone like Michael Carter size. You throw the fucking ball up and say, "Hey, go get it." That could be his role, and that might get 4 touchdowns. He might have 7 catches on the year, but they're going to be impactful plays because they'll find a role for players.
Yeah, it would be a very niche role for Kuntz. I don't think anyone thinks he'll ever be like the starting tight end, but could they find a role for him?
You get 10 catches, 3 touchdowns, and one of them is the go-ahead touchdown in a big game, like in Miami. You had an impactful year in year 2 from being what he was, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be more touchdowns than any of our tight ends had
exactly
last year.
And that's your tight end 3, 4, 5, whatever the hell he is.
If he could get Robert Tonyan 11 touchdowns, then there's no limits. There's no limits to Aaron Rodgers.
All the time. That 2020 MVP season with Rodgers, it's like a trivia question that I love asking people. Who was the second leading receiver on that team? And it's Robert Tonyan, who caught, I know the stats without even looking at it. He caught 52 passes on 59 targets, which is a ridiculous completion percentage to a tight end.
Crazy.
For 11 touchdowns.
That's insane efficiency.
He was the number 2 receiver. The number 3 receiver was Aaron Jones. So it was Adams, Tonyan, Jones. Okay. Garrett. I don't think Conklin will get that. I don't think he'll be second on the team. Say Mike Williams. And your top 3 receivers.
Oh, dude, I made a video on. This is the one that I thought you were talking about when you asked me about the video made. I made a video comparing like Rodgers' last MVP season in 2021 to this year. Dude, it's not even okay. Granted, Devontae Adams at probably wide receiver 1 in the league, pretty close to it. But beyond that, his next guys were Lazard was his number 2 receiver. MVS was 3. This is the year after Tonyan, so he wasn't on here. Aaron Jones was 4. Cobb was 5, and then like AJ Dillon was 6. And you look at the Jets, like 2 through 5 are so much better. Mike Williams over Lazard, like Conklin over MVS, Breece Hall over Jones, a Corley over that version of Cobb. And then even the offensive line. He won an MVP that year. Yosh Nijman was his left tackle because Bakhtiari missed the whole year.
God bless you. I don't know what the fuck that was. Yosh Nijman.
Yeah, some Madden generated guy. And then Billy Turner was his right tackle. I'm like, Lazard's your wide receiver 2, Turner and Yosh Nijman are your tackles.
Yeah.
And you win it. An MVP, not to mention that this would be the Jets defense of the past 3 years would be the best defense he's ever played with in his career. In his career, Tom Brady only won one of his Super Bowls with a defense that ranked outside of the top 7. Only one of them. and Aaron Rodgers has only had a defense that ranked top 7 once, and that's when he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like
what was that lineman's name again?
Yosh Nijman.
That sounds like somebody who celebrates Hanukkah at Jeremy's house.
Yeah, it's the most Jewish guy ever.
Yes, that's
Yeah, man,
it's crazy what he did and the rosters that he did it with. And when you look at the talent that we have here, we keep saying it. this could be Brees's offense, and Rodgers just facilitates. Imagine that if Rodgers just has to be a facilitator, and you just distribute the ball, get the ball to Brees, do some little boots. It's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be really, really exciting for this team.
Yeah.
How many you got on offense? What was that? About 25 players?
So I had three quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 10 offensive linemen,
17,
7 receivers,
24,
and 3 tight ends.
27. Then we got Hennessy, Zerline, Morstead, brings us to 30.
Those are locks. So that's 23 on defense. Yeah, they've always carried 10 defensive linemen under Saleh. So defensive line, there's definitely some, maybe 1 or 2 spots. I only had 8. Am I missing somebody? Because I have, obviously the locks are, so we got JJ, Quinnen, Kinlaw will start, I'm assuming, and then Reddick.
Two edge first, and then you got JJ.
Okay, let's do Reddick. JJ, Reddick, McDonald. Clemens.
Clemens, okay. And then you got Quinnen, Fatu, Kinlaw. Solomon Thomas. And then what are you doing? Tanzel Smart for now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's only 8. So I guess, I don't know. I guess Tanzel, because Solly and Clemens can play inside out. Tanzel, and then I guess right now, if I had to guess, one of those UDFAs. So that to me is a spot where, I don't know, like Tanzel Smart and a UDFA. I think we could stand up great at the bottom of to me, the depth of the defensive line did.
Holmes. They have Holmes on roster right now. Doesn't he?
They like him too. Jalen Holmes.
He was number 97, I believe. I think they like him. They signed him and
they signed him quick.
Future contracts right at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he did do some tweener stuff.
I think.
Jalen, he's like a bigger dude, I'm pretty sure. Let me look him up. Okay, so he's listed as a defensive tackle. Number 97. 6'5", 283. So that's like the classic tweener.
Yeah.
And it says here, PFF says he played 69% of his reps inside. Nice. And 31% as an edge. Okay. Knicks are going to win. There you go.
Right,
yeah.
No negativity on the show. Okay. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Yeah. I just have a feeling that might be a spot where, although I don't know, because the fact that they didn't keep JFM tells me maybe they're just good going really cheap there. I mean, does it make sense to cut JFM, save $7 million, then sign some guy for $5 million?
Yeah. Well, here's where the number game gets dicey. If you have us keeping 10 D linemen, we're at 40 players right now, and I would project 5 linebackers, right?
Yeah.
Sherratt, Barnes, Sherwood, and then CJ and Quincy. Is that the 5 you have?
CJ, Quincy, Barnes, Sherwood. Who is your 5th?
Sherratt.
Yeah, either Sherratt or Aguavin. One of those two special teamers. They did resign Aguavin. So yeah, that would leave us short. Yeah. See, the problem is I can't do math. So that's 5, and then they're going to be 6 corners. Yes. Then, man, what do you go with 9 defensive linemen then? Maybe.
And 9 offensive?
Yeah. 9 defensive linemen, 9 offensive linemen, 5 linebackers, 6 corners, 4 safeties. Would probably be how it goes.
Now, if Jordan is available, can't they use an extra spot on game day? Or he still has to count against the 53, right? It's just you get an extra spot on game day for that emergency quarterback?
Yes, they get an extra spot for somebody to dress. But he can...
Go ahead.
So they can technically have like a 49th active on game day, but he's still on the 53. And I'm pretty sure he can only play if the first 2 guys get injured. They couldn't decide to say, okay, we're going to bench Aaron Rodgers and put in Jordan Travis. It'll only be if the first two guys
Correct.
got injured.
It's got to be ruled. The players ruled out of the game. You can't just
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we're going to get him some fun reps today because we're up 46-3 against the Bills."
Right. But
There you go,
I also
Bone.
wonder if he could. Now there's going to be at least one guy who has an ingrown pube and has to be on the pup for 6 weeks because we want to get an extra rush spot. That's what they did with JBC and Carter Warren, right? Like, yeah, you take your time with that injury, Rook, because and you can because they can still practice. So maybe Jordan Travis is that. Maybe Jordan Travis is his ankle injury lingers and maybe he's on the pup or whatever the case may be, and that buys them another roster spot.
Val, who's your 6 cornerbacks?
Sauce, Reed, Michael Carter, Brandon Eccles, Isaiah Oliver, Quantez Stiggers.
Have you heard anything about Eccles in terms of injury from that accident?
No, but that was a couple years ago. The footage just came out. Yeah, that was in 2022, so that was old. I don't know if there's going to be consequences or repercussions because that guy that is really bad. That guy got hurt really bad. It's brutal. That car flips over the rail.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there'll be repercussions, but Brandon Eccles, I do think DJ Reed is gone next year. Not to wish away this season, but just looking at you can't pay everybody. It is what it is. You can't have the highest paid corner ever in Sauce, which he will be soon, and then Michael Carter, who's going to be a top 3 highest paid nickel, and then have the highest number 2 corner as well. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I think Brandon Eccles is a guy who is not DJ Reed, but I don't. He's always seemed prepared to me, and he's scrappy, and I like Brandon Eccles. I think that you could plug him into the defense, and it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, Brandon Eccles is on the field, open season, we're going to throw towards him all game.
He would have had the last interception ever against Brady if that bitch didn't decide to come back.
Oh, that's right.
He had Brady sign that ball too, I believe, and then he came back.
And he owns Tua.
Yeah.
You know that Tua Tagovailoa in his career against the Jets has thrown as many touchdown passes to Brandon Eccles as he has to any Dolphins pass catcher?
I saw that. I saw you or Gunny were flaming the Dolphins the other day.
Yeah.
I know
like Tua's 5-0 against the Jets, and it's like, dude, oh my god, they are another breed, Dolphin fans.
No, you're 100% right. They were talking about some of them, and I try not to comment. I mute the Dolphins fans. I don't want to get into
it's not worth it.
Shit. And one of them were like, "Oh, Beckham on wide receiver 3 on our team would be wide receiver 1 on Buffalo, wide receiver 1 on the Patriots, wide receiver 2 on the Jets." Like, shut the fuck up.
It's crazy, man.
I can't wait for that. I mean, they will finish second. Buffalo's going to be in third this year. I predicted that last year, and it didn't happen. But it's going to be fun watching them, both of them fight for a wild card at 9 wins when we're at 12, 13, or maybe even more.
Yeah, I could see it going. I could see it going either way. Heading into last year, I had the Bills winning it, and then the Jets and Dolphins jockeying for second. But this year, I do have the Jets in front with the Bills and then Dolphins jockeying for second. So I'm with you there. I think that, Miami, it's tough because they got gutted on the offensive line, but it seems like they don't really need offensive line because they just hit the back foot and throw the ball.
Yeah. But don't forget, they lost Wilkins too. You lose Wilkins and Hunt. Those are tough guys to replace. Like, you have to be somewhat competitive in the trenches. You can't just rely on speed. Even Quinnen Williams can blow up the backfield and get a hold of Mostert or Acne, whatever the fuck his name is. I've never said his name right once, and I probably never will. I'm usually good with saying people's names, and I make fun of Jeremy because he never gets it. It's A-Chain?
Yeah, A-Chain.
Fuck it, Acne. He ain't breaking out against us, but you got to be able to block some point. You can't just rely on speed to go everywhere, right? Because if you're not blocking defensive linemen in the NFL, they're going to make plays.
Yeah,
Reddick can run it down. McDonald can run it down. JJ can run it down.
Especially when you have to play in the winter, like that's. I don't know how you could. Again, people want to say, "Oh, you're a Jet fan." Look, whatever. The facts are the facts. They have yet to produce a modern offense when it's below 45 degrees. Not negatives. Not like -12.
Yeah.
Not like, like 45 degrees. Like,
fall weather.
dude, yeah, I take out the garbage in like, like a sleeveless shirt and shorts really quick and it's 45 degrees. That's just no big deal. You don't even need a jacket.
I do that at 15, but for you, 45 degrees is like, oh my God, look at all this snow melting finally. It's a river
It's a
out
heat
here.
wave. Like 45. I mean, that's what Stringer Bell on The Wire, he called like average. Too many 45-degree days around here. They can't get it done in average. It's wild.
Yeah. And any playoff place that you're going to go to, New Jersey, New York, Kansas City,
Buffalo, Baltimore,
Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Like they're not winning another fucking playoff game. They won't win if they even make it this year. Wow.
Yeah. No, they're ceiling, and then once they pay Tua $50 million, what that's going to do to the rest of their roster.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got to bounce, bud.
Hey man, I know you said you only had half an hour, but I love you and appreciate you for hanging out this long, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no, we'll have to do it again when my stuff is working. Sorry about that.
No worries. I know you're just sitting there shirtless like Jeremy would have, rubbing your nipples. So it's
He's
better
here.
off
He's actually here. He's rubbing them for me.
Him
and Yosh Niesman.
Laheim. All right.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, buddy. Be good. Awesome, Buffalo Jet fan joining us on Pride and Chaos show. Oh, so I see the Knicks fans have invaded the chat. I see Bonesy and everyone else is happy. I will preface it with this. I am going to open up the call-in. Tonight is Jets calls only. You can smile. You can have your bing bong, ding dong, ping pong, whatever. But we're going to take Jets calls. So have your Jet take ready before you call in. Think about what you want to speak about. And let's have fun. It's pinged in the chat. You better have a Jet take. What's your Jet take?
Hey, I think the Jets are gonna be 12-5 this year.
How the hell do you see them losing 5 games?
Oh, that's
Who are the 5? Who are the 5?
Man, that's my guess. I am just saying 12-5. They're gonna win the AFC East.
I like that.
They're gonna take care of the Patriots and Buffalo Bills.
How do you see them finishing in the AFC for playoff standings 1 through 7? So you think they're winning the East, so that's 1 through 4. Where do you think they fall?
Let's see.
You think Kansas City goes better than 12-5?
I think they're gonna be in third.
All right, third's a home playoff game. Third is a home playoff game. I'll take a home playoff game.
So now I gotta go.
You have anything else? Every ladies you want to talk?
Oh, okay. Well, that guy talked for ages.
Well, there's only 20 minutes left in the show. I do have to get up early tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, I'm not doing like a prolonged hangout tonight. I am going to cut the show at 11 because I got to be sleeping.
Okay,
But I mean, tomorrow night, the Thursday night throwdown, I'm going to have a guest for hour 1. And then tomorrow night will be long call-ins and we'll hang out.
When is me and Bonesy show again?
When what?
When is me and Bonesy show again?
I'm going to talk to Bonesy about that, and maybe he'll call in a little bit. Like I said, there's only about 20 minutes left in the show. I'm going to get off around 11. That's what she said.
Who's your guest tomorrow?
Hmm?
Who's your guest tomorrow?
Working on it. Working on a guest for hour 1. We're going to do a throwdown. We're going to do a debate. You know,
all right, I get my big
that's what the throwdown is, and then after the throwdown, we open it up to callers, and then that'll be a good time to hang out, and we'll have our normal fun.
Okay, I get off.
Sound good?
Now. Yeah, bye.
All right, buddy. Have a good night, man. Go Yankees! 5 in a row,
and the next one too. So bye.
5 in a row. I didn't boot him. He left on his own. Next up, someone who is very happy with the New York Jets draft. His father is happy with the New York Jets draft, and he's going to share his joy right now. The legendary, who gave 2 super chats tonight also. Thank you very much for those. Mr. Charles Gorman, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with Mr. Bobby there. I'm not saying that's the most they're going to win, but that's the floor I'm expecting them. It's 12 games.
So you're saying minimum 12 wins?
Yes.
I like it.
I'm expecting the Jets to at least try to win the AFC East. I expect them to go either 4-2 or 5-1, mostly 5-1, or one loss being against Miami up in Miami.
Okay.
I just catched up on the flight episodes. They were really good.
Thank you for reminding me. I put that on last night, and I set it up on the table next to the bed. I had my melatonin in me. I lay on my side, and I don't care how energized I am. If I laid on my side right now, I'm sleeping within 30 seconds. It never fails. And I dozed off during it, and I gotta watch it. I saw the beginning. I don't even think I saw 2 minutes of it. I saw the drone getting Olu.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you, sir. God bless you too. I saw the drone going in to get Olu from the hotel right in the parking lot and bring him over, and I don't even think I saw him get out of the truck. That's how quick I fell asleep.
They were good first 3 episodes. I can't wait for episode 4. I really like the New York Jets flight episodes. They're really good. I like the emotion of. I love the emotion of Joe Douglas. I love his passion. I know a lot of Jet fans crap on him because of his record and everything, but I still think he's done a lot of good for this organization. I think he has the right attitude. I think he has the right mentality. He just needs to be more consistent, in my opinion.
It helps when you have a quarterback, though, right? It helps when the roster that you build, those guys are healthy. When those guys are healthy, I mean, we win double digits last 2 seasons. We're 20 wins the last 2 seasons, and we make the playoffs the last 2 seasons. And we didn't even have an elite quarterback play. We had the worst quarterback play in the league, but the roster is so good, we still would have won 10 games if we had our starters for the entire season.
That is very true. Hopefully Tyron Smith stays healthy most of the time. Hey, look, man, he's a fingers crossed. I know, man. Keep praying.
Pray. I pray multiple times a day, and I constantly say, "Dear God, please keep this Jets team healthy." I added in every single prayer. Let them be healthy.
I understand how you feel, man. Trust me, I did too. I also like the fact that I also loved Mike Williams' reaction when he got the sandwich. That was great. When he got the Taylor ham or pork roll sandwich, whatever you call it.
It's pork roll. That's the product. You go to any store and you look at the packaging, it says pork roll. Taylor ham is just a made-up name that people...
Oh, really? I didn't know about that. Thank you for letting me know.
Any deli that you go to ShopRite, look at the packaging, and it says pork roll on it.
I mean, he loved the sandwich. Took a bite, a manly bite, and he ate it, and he loved the sandwich. I mean, I've always liked Mike Williams. He was a very talented wide receiver. Hopefully, he stays healthy for the most part this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to June. They do the phase 3 of OTAs, I believe, in June, and I'm looking forward to seeing where he's at. Because don't forget, he was a free agent, right? He just signed in March, so it's not like when Brees got injured, he was working with them November, December, January, February, March. We just got a hold of Mike Williams, so I'm curious if there's any information that comes out in those videos, and it tells us where he's at, because they did a real good documentary last year with Brees.
I still have yet to watch that. I heard it was really good.
Yo, yeah. It's kind of nerdy. I loved it last year because I had ACL surgery. May 11th will be a year since I had my ACL replaced. And
God bless you, man.
Thanks. That was when I then during that recovery, I fell down the stairs here, coming to the basement, June 7th. And that was when Tomageddon began. Tomageddon. And as you just recently found out, is when I lost. Shut up, Bonesy. I see you laughing in the back. Yeah.
Tell Bonesy I sent him a friend request on Discord.
Discord? All right. Bonesy, Charles sent you a friend request on Discord.
Oh, look, I don't want to take too much of your time. It was great talking with you.
You too, buddy.
Have a
Thank
good
you
day,
for the
man.
super chats. Go Jets. You got work tomorrow?
Yeah, at 9:30. I got to be up around 7:30, so peace out.
Later, bro. We'll talk. All right. Next up. How was your night, sir?
Jets, Jets. Let's go. I will always make sure that I don't come on here bragging. I'll just be happy about the Jets. But you know where my energy's coming from. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I'll say this. The friendships that I'm forming with a lot of you guys, you, VR, Johnny, Dane, all the other Knicks fans, who come into the show, and there's playoff basketball going on now. I will admit that I'm starting to like you guys more than I hate the people from my past. Not that I'll ever root for the Knicks, but dude, this is big for me. This is huge for me. People who know me wouldn't believe this. I'm happy for you guys. I know what it's like to root for a team that hasn't won a championship in 50 plus years. There is a buzz. There's an excitement. I'll just say that I'm happy for my friends. That's all. That's big for me. That's big.
I could see. I know it is. I haven't even been knowing you that long. Like that we have. I could tell though, man, and we appreciate that.
I'm happy for you guys. That's the best way I could put it.
That's what counts, man. We're homies, and that's what counts. So
that's it, man.
No, it is. You're right, though. It is fun. I mean, tonight was a mess, man. Jalen Brunson got hurt. He didn't play the whole.
Like it.
We were nervous, man. He played the whole second half somehow, but it was.
The chat was commenting. I kind of rode the roller coaster with the chat. I was seeing it. They said Brunson came out, and then I saw Connor. I get all Connor's tweets that Brunson was coming back out at halftime. I read that tweet for them, and then Agubagani went out with like a quad. Did he ever come back in?
No, OG. He went out. He was out for game, and he hurt his hamstring. So that hurts for us. He had like 28 through the first 3. So
I saw
he was carrying. But hey, man, it's all about the Jets too, baby. That's why we're all here.
Yeah.
Don't have too much action going on today besides Plexico running his mouth, but that's normal.
I had to deal with a lot of stuff today at the house. What did Plaxico say? I wasn't able to catch Jake's show. I had to do an interview for a new potential tenant today, and had to deal. And my allergies beat the shit out of me today. I took a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day. I had to take my contacts out and just wash my face down. This pollen is fucking horrible.
You wear contacts too? Me too, man.
Yeah,
I'm blind, bro. I'm blind.
Horrible.
It's
horrible.
If you know contact numbers, I'm negative 625.
Oh, I'm negative 575 in one eye, and I'm negative 475 in the other eye.
Yeah, see, so I'm even worse than you. So you know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
But honestly, I just watched Jake's show, and I like towards the end because I was picking up my my kids from school, and my son's doing some like chorus shit after school, so I didn't even get a chance to actually hear what he said. I just know he was talking shit, and I saw everybody's replies. So I was just like,
I have 15-20 in both eyes, but I'm deaf. Yeah. What did you say?
Yo, Hawk, did you see? I was hyping you in the chat that you were coming to the dinner. Just getting everybody going.
Where's Hawk live?
I think he's definitely in New York. I don't know exactly where, but
city or
yo,
upstate?
is Snowball still in the chat? I saw him talk. I want to make sure he's coming tomorrow. I gotta know what. Where are you, Snowball? You still in here? Boom. Okay.
Hawks and Tom's River.
Snowball, man. You're coming, right? On tomorrow, Friday?
Yeah, he just commented he'll be there.
All right, good. I need some of the OGs. Make sure I got my OGs with me.
Can Snowball buy shoes?
Snowball don't need no shoes, but of course I'd hook him up, you know. Oh, Charles, I'll accept your thing once I get in Discord. I haven't been in there in a little bit, so I'll definitely do your thing. You know what, Big? Another day of defending Joe Douglas. That was what was going on today, Nick. We people still hating. You know, I understand both sides when you're looking at his wins and losses, and he's been really unfortunate with his injury luck. I think that plays a lot of role, and you miss on the quarterback, that plays a lot of role. But I would love to hear some people's arguments about what would make Joe Douglas fall out of the top 10 as a GM in the league. He's very active. He's a great, evaluator of talent. VR had a great quote today in our Discord when he said that it's almost like a baseball average. Like if you're batting 300, I mean, you're considered money. So
you're Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So if you go through like the other GMs in the league, tell me what other teams that you would trade for their GM with our GM. And quarterback, like that's like what carries everything. When you go through the best teams in the NFL, you're naming all the best quarterbacks. So when you want to talk GMing,
yeah,
I hate to piggyback off what Jake always says, but it's like, look at what happened with the Texans and how fucking lucky they were that they didn't even want CJ. If they fell into his lap, and that guy is set, they made the playoffs. They are set for years, you know? It's like, I don't know, man.
Something I say, like I'll ask people, if Joe Douglas became available, if we fire Joe Douglas, how would you feel if he became the Buffalo general manager? I would hate it. I don't give a shit if Mike McCagnon got a job. I don't care if Terry Bradway, John Idzik. I don't care if any of those guys got jobs anywhere. I would absolutely hate if Joe Douglas got fired by the Jets.
Me too. I honestly, I'm so glad that this past year when everybody was putting the pressure almost from media and oh, Joe, clean house. I'm glad that the relationships and Rodgers being there, knowing that Rodgers and JD are tight. You've heard that from multiple sources between Samini and many people have said how close they are. If there was any one out of the two to go, people have made it so it would be Saleh, and it'd be it'd really be up to Rodgers, who, if Saleh had to go too. But we got to run it back this year. I'm praying as a Jets fan, as someone, you look like all of us. We put our lives into this team. I mean, we put our time, our efforts. I mean, I feel so strongly about Joe Douglas. I would be so upset if we lost him. So I'm praying. I'm just praying to the football gods. If we could just have this good year with Rodgers, it's going to give flexibility for this coaching staff and regime to keep going for a little longer, and that's my real hope. And it's hard to win a fucking Super Bowl. So I'm not somebody who's coming in here Super Bowl or bust. It's let's just fucking be a team and make it to the playoffs and just make a run, be a dangerous team, be hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Health.
Yeah.
Health,
Please.
Jesus, sweet baby Jesus, health.
Daniel, that's the goal, man. If this team's healthy, making the playoffs should not be an issue, in my opinion.
We should have been there last year.
Bill Aimley coming in. Bill, welcome. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you have, thanks for
Bill visited me, Nick.
Bonesy, great to see you. Beat Neil big time and have a great weekend. I love it. Support for Bonesy coming in. You know I'm Team Bonesy. I'm Team Bonesy. I can't wait. I can't wait.
We still got to figure some shit out. Like, can you record people publicly without consent? Like, I didn't even think of this shit. Like, I'm gonna have to put a camera.
I mean, I do. But if I see a midget, like I'm taking a picture of the midget and sending it to friends. Like that's me. Like that's. But
when you put it on a platform, like Jake's gonna be posting, he's gonna be marketing it. So
I know it might have to be blurred faces,
which is fine for the customers. I don't give a shit. I don't think that's a big deal. But I don't know how it's gonna. Like I don't think I'll be able to swing asking every customer that comes in like, "Oh, are you okay to be filmed for our Jets show?"
Yeah,
like I just I got a couple
of this, and you don't want to get a corporate complaint like, "Why are you filming customers?" You know what I mean? If you get a Karen or what is it for? What's it? A Chad?
No, Karen's perfect.
Well, you said it's male shoes, so if you get a Chad.
Oh man, imagine how
if people catch wind of it or somebody watches and then says, "Oh, I saw you were in the store," and you know what I mean? I'm looking to protect you. You're my boy, Blue.
Scott said, "Bonesy, is Rex still alive?" From yesterday, you guys want my dog dead.
Big blowout over here. Dollar Shave continue my blades, and new ones are plastic garbage. My wife said Dollar Shave Club. I'm using wrong. I flipped dollar, sending new now. I'm a little lost with this. The money Bonesy is saving me on selling me one. I could buy a new razor. There's Rex Scott. Scott.
That's what I got to do. I got to start. I
didn't hear back from Manscaped. I applied to Manscaped for partnership. So,
yesterday you applied? How long ago?
Tuesday night I applied, and I haven't heard anything back yet. So I'm sure that they I'm
24
sure they got
hours. Yeah, I mean,
we have a lot of people who reach out. I'll double check the email again now. No, nothing yet. Let's check the spam. Make sure it didn't get dumped in there. No.
Yo, I was watching some of that Tom Brady roast. They were really giving it to him.
Yeah.
And they were giving it to a lot of people who are there. Like, oh man, I haven't gotten all the way through it because, with the 3 kids, I'm like fucking just 3 Jets, Knicks, 3 kids, making my wife happy. It's like, holy shit. Chilling with my homies.
The whole family is Knicks fans?
Yeah, my wife is she's everything that I am. She kind of adapted what I did, and she accepted at a young age how fucking nuts I was.
Oh, she's an asshole too?
She's not an asshole.
Well, you said she's everything I am. I'm not letting that joke fly by.
She let me have a Jets wedding cake.
Disrespect.
No, none taken. Yo, I had a Jets wedding cake, man, when I got married.
Nice. I had when I had gotten married, it was 2007, and I had name cards. You know how you put like the name cards out to tell people they're like their seating arrangement? I had name cards for Eric Mangini and Joe Torre. And the buzz, he fucking invited these guys. They're coming.
That is honestly hilarious.
It was. People were coming back, and the groomsmen were like, "Dude, everyone's talking about like." Meanwhile, the Yankees were playing the Oakland A's. It was June 29th, 2007. I'm pretty sure that Yankees were playing the A's that day.
Oh my god, shit in a brick. People were trying to probably like sit with their seats like behind, closer to those seats, like when they're sitting next to that table. Fuck, that's funny.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm ready, Gator. Let's go, baby.
Nice. All right, all right. Let me see what do you got? Because I'm literally about to say goodnight to everybody.
I know.
What's
I want
up,
to
Bobby?
say love to Mr. Bonesy. Hi, Mr. Bonesy. How you doing?
Bobby, you melt my heart, baby.
You melt my heart. Right? Nick melts my heart to everybody except Alan. He's a cartoon character. What he said about what's his name? Mitchell. Oh, Mitchell went down. Who's next? Oh my God. I'm glad that what's his name knocked him out for 24 hours. Jake knocked him out for 24 hours today.
Yep, I saw that.
I'm happy.
How happy are you? Wait. How happy are you?
I'm
Welcome to Boners with Bobby.
Are you that happy? Are you that happy?
A lot more.
You're more, a lot more.
Bobby.
Yeah.
No editing, just my beautiful vocal cords. No editing, just a simple little audio clip.
Right. No, you did good. You did it by yourself.
You know what's the best though? I have like two different things in my head all the time when I see Bobby. Not only do I have Nick going, Bobby,
yeah.
I have fucking Gator. I'm not Gator's song. It's just like ding 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 like in my fucking head. I'm more than just
what about your game, Mr. Bonesy's Neighborhood? That was awesome too. You get dressed up in a sweater. Okay, you pronounce Mr. Bonesy? That was good.
Real quick, well, give me 1 second, guys. I am about to wrap up. So, Snowball, thank you. Chat, what did we learn today? Put in your comments. What did you learn while watching today's show? It could be jet related, non-jet related, but we are going to wrap up here. And I would say about 5 minutes. I want to be off by about 4 minutes.
Hey, Mr. Bonesy.
What's up, buddy?
He wants to know when we want to do our next show.
Oh, you want to know?
I want to know.
You want?
We'll figure that out, Bobby. I got.
And I'll make up the trivia questions.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
All right, Bobby. One of the chat members want to know what's in the stack of stuff back behind you.
Well, I got a very small apartment, so I got like stuff in boxes and all that. I got a very small apartment. It's not
like a human head.
No, not a human head. I got Christmas time 2 Christmas gifts I got from work: a grill, and those panini grills, and then I also got a waffle maker too. So.
All right. Patty Grimes coming in with Patty. Thank you for watching. That Nick was married. Yes, Nick, I was. Bobby playing Jenga with the household items.
I never played Jenga.
Gator, you obviously don't know what. Gator learned if you root for a team to lose and they win, suck it.
Hey, Gator, nice to see you, my pal.
We also learned that Nick is starting to soften up and love his friends more than the hatred for the Knicks.
Yes.
No, I didn't say that. I said I'm starting to have an appreciation for my friends, you guys who I'm building relationships with, and I'm liking you more than I hate the people from my past. That's what I said.
Okay, well, yeah, at least you warmed up a little bit.
I think I made it sound perfect. It's my thoughts.
I think you should be a Nick fan.
Now you're pushing it, Bobby.
Bobby, you're a fan of me. That's the only Nick fandom that I need. You like me.
I'm a fan of you and Mr. Bonesy and Jake.
Mr. Bonesy.
Not of Alan. Nevermore. Never will be. Can't be what he said.
All right, fellas, listen. I'm out too, Nick.
Yeah, okay. I let you guys go.
Tomorrow night, I'm gonna do my best to come chill. I will keep in touch with you guys. I
All
do
right.
have to give my wife
You
one of
two
these
figure it
nights.
out. When you guys have a segment, let me know.
Okay,
When you
nice.
guys are ready, you let me know.
Thank you
Noted.
for
All right,
letting me
gentlemen?
come on 2 times, Nick. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't think you had 2 times coming in you, but it looks like you do. Way to go.
Well, I wanted to say hello to my pal.
I got you. Why don't you fucking raise your voice to me? What are you getting all
No, I'm
uppity
not
for?
Hey,
I'm nice to you. How are you yelling at me?
You're always nice to me.
Exactly. Bobby,
Yeah.
good night. God bless.
Good night,
Go
guys.
Yankees.
All right, fellas. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bonesy, have a good one, bro. What is this? Oh, I double clicked. My neighbor is cute, looking for a man interested. She is tall and about 50. I don't date any woman over 5'2". I have a midget fetish between 5 foot, 5'2". That's my thing. You know what, Gator? I asked him that one night. I asked him if the Jets played the Giants in the Super Bowl, who would he root for? And he said, well, I'm a Giant fan. I go, but all the Jet content creators that let you on, you wouldn't want to see us happy. You've won 4 in your lifetime. Most of us haven't won in ours. He was kind of wishy-washy, but I think I couldn't get him to commit. I think he would still go with the Giants. I even used his brother against him, and he would not. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for joining Wednesday night, Pride and Chaos. Chaos had to leave a little early. Buffalo Jet fan, thank you for calling in. Charles, Bobby, Bonesy, thank you everyone for watching. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m., Thursday night throwdown. Working on a guest for hour 1, and then in hour 2, we will open it up to the chat to call in. And Mr. Rogers, thank you for you showing up. I appreciate you hanging out here, sir. Enjoy your off season. You looked awesome at the was it Kentucky Derby? My mind just went completely blank. But all right, everyone. Have a good night. Stay safe. Do something good for somebody tomorrow. Do a kind gesture. Do something out of the kindness of your heart. Hold the door for someone you would normally let it slam on. Be kind to someone. Or not. If you're not, come here, tell me the story tomorrow night. That'll be fun. All right, everybody. Good night. Go Jets. Be loud.